Hey there, this is Future Aeon here, just as a heads up before the video starts. This originally was supposed to come out on Father's Day, but just like Gaius' attempts on fixing everything, it's way too late. So, think of this as a late Father's Day gift. Anyways, enjoy the video, please, and thank you. The following video contains spoilers for Final Fantasy XIV's main story quest and the Sorrows of Wyrlit side quest, up until 6.0. You have been warned.
Such devastation! This was not my intention!
It's a funny line, isn't it? One that people will look at. They'll probably sleep through the rest of the cutscene, and in a lot of instances, create a whole bunch of meme edits of Gaius talking about the devastation one has. So, you know, after we do all that, we kill him, toss out ultimate weapon, villain stopped, let's go have a party. But it's not that simple, is it? Think about that line. I mean, really think about that line. The mass destruction, the fire, the complete obliteration of the Praetorium. That was something Gaius never really wanted. He never intended to unleash this wanton hellfire in the first place. So what? Yeah, Gaius never intended it, but that didn't mean that he wasn't evil. Dunk on his ass, move on, wound his pride, and make sure he never comes back. That's what everyone else did. That's what everyone else thought the game did, too. Then we get to the burn. He's back. He's not in his, absolute elitist armor. He's completely different, but he's back. And of course, he naturally has a bone to pick with the Ascians after what La Habrea did to him. So, why is he back? The first hint is, in post-Stormblood. We naturally uncover Black Rose and what it did to the Alamegans. And we're horrified to discover that, hey, this is the next Umbral Calamity. A weapon of mass destruction that specifically targets your Aether and forces it to go still. You will cease to exist once exposed to this gas. So what does Gaius have to say about it? The evil megalomaniacal villain that he is. Oh. Quite a lot, actually. So why, out of all the Garleans, do we have to see Gaius again? Why does the game show us him? And what makes him someone we have to engage with in the first place? Naturally, it's not until Shadowbringers do we get what he wants. Help. It's not until Shadowbringers that we realize that this memed-on line that everyone has disregarded up until this point was the most integral line we could ever have to Gaius' character in the first place. A lot of people would look at this man in particular, look at the empire he's in, and then rubber stamp evil baddie on his forehead. Really, think about it. If he was so evil, why say this line? Why go out of your way to help a supposed enemy? Easy enough answer. He became self-aware to the Empire's true goals. Gaius' entire motivation was never really aligned with Garleon proper. It's always been might leads to righteous rule. To put it in more practical terms, the strong will pave the way to a ruling system that will not be flawed and that'll stand against all others. That's usually what that means. Hell, how he ruled Alamigo up until Xenos took over reflects that. A lot of it is based on the strength of his rule allowed new openings to appear before Xenos. But yet, when he realizes that very strength that he believes in, that the Empire he put so much of his time into, using their strength, created Black Rose, an umbral weapon so destructive that it indiscriminately kills whoever comes into contact with it. You can see how that starts to break apart all of his previous views. So, we have a man hell-bent on eliminating the empire he previously served, just to be able to get rid of these experiments and weapons of mass destructions, all because of his achievements. That's the funny thing about past achievements and past actions, isn't it? They'll come back right when you least expect it and destroy everything around you. So let's talk about Sorrows of Werlyt. Editor, let's give the folks here at home a quick refresher.
Alright, quick and easy, let's see how this goes. The Sorrow of Werlyt questline is an optional set of 8-man trials added during the post-MSQ patches of Shadowbringers. The story it tells acts as a follow-up to the aftermath of the Ultima weapon, as a reformed 7th Imperial Legion deploys several anti-icon War Machina prototypes that were reverse-engineered from the Ultima weapon. Defeating these, however, is not a clear-cut task, as Gaius learns that the pilot of these weapons are none other than the 5 Reen Aura children he adopted before the war with Eorzea.
You got all that? Good. Let's break down Gaius' character like how his children broke down in their weapons. We know that the weapons are extremely dangerous, but especially because Ultima Weapon's failure, that led to the refinement and usage of synthetic auracite. A quick breakdown. We have white auracite that can trap and store beings within itself, similar to how different items can trap summons in. And then the Heart of Sabik, a black auracite variation, thank you Lord Soken for giving us that indication, that can seemingly unleash an endless amount of devastation, created by someone that, at this point, we are not sure who. But they were at least during the Astian's time. So, do you want to take a guess as to what synthetic auracite can do? Remember how I mentioned that Gaius' past actions would come to haunt him? Take a guess as to how Oversoul works. I'll give you 5 seconds. Time's up. It kills them. To be more specific, it takes their soul, blends it together into a fine paste, and then uses that paste to make a copy of Garleon's strongest warriors. With Ruby Weapon, it was Nail Deus Darnus. With Sapphire Weapon, Regula van Hydrus. With emerald weapon, it was Gaius van Baelsar himself. And with diamond weapon, it was the eldest of the Baelsar children, Alphonse. I can hear the lot of you already screaming at the screen. He deserves it. He was evil. This was karmic justice for all of the previous actions that Gaius has done. And that's a funny thing, isn't it? That's the tragedy of the situation. A man desperate to try and do better than the empire he came from, adopting kids, following in his philosophy, not the empire's, to be better than him. Eventually watching them be snuffed out one by a project he inspired thanks to the actions in the Praetorium. He watched as they all followed his philosophy to the best of their ability, and watched as they get cut down by the Warrior of Light, and in a desperate act to try and make their father proud, obliterate their soul. Because Sorrows of Wordlet was never meant to be Gaius's redemption story. If it was a redemption story for Gaius, he would somehow be able to save all of his kids, defeat the villain, bring the new Legion to heel under his control, and begin reformation of Turncliffe. Everyone would be at peace, his children wouldn't need to fight anymore, and he would rest his laurels, knowing that he did the best that he can. That wasn't what happened in Sorrows of Wordlet. It's a tragedy. Tragedies by nature are stories that show what could be a heroic identity, something that can be a strength, turned into a flaw. Gaius's flaw, thinking that his strength, his word, and his nobility alone could stop the abominable experiments, that it would be enough to save all of his children. He can rend things with his own two hands, rebuild it and make it right again, and go back to his children without consequence. And yet, that strength that he so believed in is what caused all of them to die one by one, and for Allie to succumb to Overmind, her sense of self obliterated. That is the essence of a tragedy, after all. A heroic strength turned into a flaw, as the hero realizes that they can do nothing but helplessly watch as everything crumbles apart. But not all tragedies are so sorrowful. There can be some hope for redemption after all. Gaius was never really redeemed in Sorrows of Wordlet. All he really was a hero in a tragic story. He could only take that first step onto the road of redemption. Turncliffe doesn't trust him. And while he has his remaining daughter, she is forever haunted by the weapons. And while Alphonse managed to restore most of her mind, I have a feeling that she will remain haunted. Maybe with time, with Allie's help, with the Eorzean Alliance backing him, Turncliffe will eventually begin to slowly move past the weapon project. Gaius can begin his atonement through there. I don't think Gaius ever sought to be fully redeemed in any case. He simply wanted his family back. He wanted a better life for them, A life where they don't need to fight. A life that he can eventually put down his blade, rest, and watch them play. That wasn't what happened at the end of the Sorrows of Warlit. But maybe with time, Gaius and Allie can see their family again. Thank you all so much for watching. This video has been kind of in the background. I've been working on and off for it for a little bit. I figured that I might as well post it now before anything in life becomes more hectic. Like, subscribe, please share it. I'm not 100% sure if this analysis is to everyone's liking, but at the very least, I want to see if there's other like-minded people that share these kind of thoughts about the Sorrows of Warlit. Thank you.
If you guys want, I can go ahead and talk more about Final Fantasy XIV and Dawn Trail as well, since that's the newest expansion that's out. Go ahead, leave a comment below if you really want me to explore more topics on the subject.